Hello and welcome to the 2025 Season 3 Week 2 Track Guide by Team Conti Sim Performance. We are at the newly renamed EchoPark Speedway in the NASCAR NextGen car, and I am Michael Conti, and I'm going to take you for a 20-ish lap race run review around this track. And we're going to do things a little bit differently today. Typically, I'll go out and I'll run by myself and I'll talk to you as I'm driving the car in real time. And then I'll get out of the car and we'll review the replay and sort of take a deeper dive into what I was doing during the run. Um, with this being a plate track, and typically I don't even do track guides for these because it's pretty straightforward. With this being a plate track, I wanted to do this differently this week. So what we're going to do is we're going to look back on a 20-ish lap run that I did with our TCSP ambassadors last night, and really just going to walk through everything that was going into what I was doing in this run, from generating momentum to lane choice to side drafting to how the new Aero effects in traffic are really affecting how the car drives. A lot to unpack here. Very, very different than seasons past with the Speedway package. So definitely think that it's worth taking a little bit of extra time this week to go over what you may be exposed to in your races and some things to watch out for, some best practices, and just overall a really good heads up of what's to come when we get to next week. So with that being said, we're going to roll off here. We're going to do a very messy mock start. And this is really just going to be me watching with you guys and picking up on what I'm doing in real time, or in real time in this replay. And you can see here, and you're going to be able to see over the next couple laps, the momentum and the energy is always going to be with the line of cars that has the most cars in it. And in this case right here on the restart, it was the bottom. The bottom was very packed up. There were more cars down there, and even with me trying to aggressively side draft to the point of pretty much dooring Johan there for a bit, it wasn't even nearly enough to slow down that bottom and begin to make any forward momentum. So Johan moves up right here to give me a little bit of draft. I've got Nick behind me, and I mean, we're as tight as you can be. It's kind of hard to stay connected down the straightaway because you've got that quad oval there, so a lot of turning and movement from the cars, so hard to be linked up in a way that really creates a lot of forward momentum, but we're trying it here. Now we've got 4 cars up top to the 3 on the bottom, and we are way closer together, as you can see right here. But even the 4 versus the 3 on the bottom, hard to make any forward progress. You can see Krobach up front is starting to creep in on Zach a little bit on the bottom. But as we get to the corner, that bottom lane is going to overpower us and we're going to lose a bit. Now we've got Holslander on the bottom, so now it's 4 versus 3. I've lost my help from behind, so I am having to really do everything in my power to keep up with Johan in front of me. And on that note, in the past, when you lost the car behind you, you really had no recourse to actually close up to the people in front, especially if you were the last car in line and a big pack of cars, you would very easily lose the draft. It seems like there's a bigger hole being punched in the air now, so you don't need that rear car as much, but still, when you lose it, it definitely hurts. Now you can see right here, the top is now broken up. I'm about to move to the bottom, and you'll notice that Krobach gets loose off of 2. You can push all the way around the track, especially on new tires. It's possible. Is it recommended? Not really. I think in your top split races, some of your best speedway racers are going to figure out how to stay locked on all the way around and really push hard. But frankly, unless you are like the top 1% speedway racer and you do this religiously and you are just doing it every single time there is a speedway race available to you, if you don't have that experience, that prowess, and that know-how, do not try to tandem all the way around the track. Push down the straightaways, just give a little bit of space in the corners, and it's going to alleviate a lot of wrecks. And honestly, it seems like the tandem doesn't even really do too much here anymore. So the risk versus reward of tandeming versus just pushing with that air in that bubble, it's not worth putting that car, your car, and everybody else around you at risk by being aggressive with the pushes in the corners. And you can see right here, we're trying to push on exit, and there's a little bit of space right here. And what's happening here with Johan tucked up behind Krobach as closely as he is, you're actually starting to get this 72 car a little bit loose. So a lot of that aero loose, or as I hate to say, rear grief that we talked about at Pocono and that everybody experienced at some point with a car tucked up behind you makes you loose. That is happening at the speedways now. It's happening on the plate tracks. So Johan is making Krobach aero loose, and you can already see the 72 is sideways here. He's losing momentum. Johan is now going to make contact with the right side of the rear bumper, and that's just going to continue to push Krobach to the left. It's going to get him completely out of shape. Now he's got to correct it, and that top line is completely broken up. Now the 72 is going to get pulled back because Johan is on his right rear, and that's going to kill any progress that top could have made. But either way, even if they were perfectly pushing here, that tandem was not going to overpower the 4, soon to be 5 cars lined up on the bottom. So anything to take away from this portion of the video, the tandem does not work nearly as well as it did before. Go with the line that has the most cars. Go with the line that has the energy. The bottom is going to be tough to compete with on fresh tires when you've got the throttle pinned. Eventually, as the run goes on and handling really comes into play past 10-15 laps, I think a lot of people are going to migrate to the top, and it's going to be hard to make forward progress on the bottom. But anyway, let's continue. Top is broken up. We are a line of cars in the bottom. We'll stay in this view for a bit. Now right here, I try to make a move to the top. And you can see, even with me pulling out, now obviously I don't do a very good job of trying to get to the right rear and pull the 99 of Holslander back. But in previous builds, it felt like that right rear side draft, that pullback, was much, much stronger. And so even if I just pulled out a line, stopped pushing him with the air bubble, and just got to his right side, in previous builds, that would have been enough to pull him back off of John Williams here in this car. That did not happen. I pull out. I go from 187 miles an hour to 184, 3, 2, 1, 180. I'm still going a little bit quicker than these guys, but it's not nearly enough to actually pull up and continue to make progress and actually be in a position to get to the right rear of the 99 and begin to really pull him back. I just can't do it. I have no help. I have no front draft. Side draft, I missed it. Plus, when you're going that fast into 3 here, even on fresh tires, you start to lose the nose. So I'm tight here. I am fully behind the wake of these 4 leading cars. So I have no downforce going to my car. Plus, at a speedway, we are trying to take as much downforce out of these cars as possible. So you don't have a lot to begin with. And so when you have that dirty air happening, that little bit that you have goes away and you just have nothing left. So, I'm tight. I pull out a line right here, and I've got to be careful not to turn the wheel any more than this, because I'm going to be tight, and then I'm going to have a bunch of clean air dump on the nose, and if I'm cranking wheel, I'm going to snap, and I'm going to get loose, and we're going to see that a little bit as this run goes on. But I have a big run, try to pull out, can't do anything with it. I've got cars crashing behind me, but that's okay. So I pull back in line here, and now I'm going to try to push the 99. And as I push the 99, I'm going to try to stay either center or slightly offset to the left. When I'm pushing a car, I do not want to get to the right side for 2 reasons. 1, very easy to get the bumpers stuck together and hook him to the right. And 2, if I'm sticking out to the right, I'm just dragging both of us back. I'm making us slower. So offset slightly left or be center. Good rule of thumb here is to line up with this camera. So right here, I'm too far to the left. But as we get right about here, this windshield brace, line that up with the camera, and you can see from outside the car, that's almost perfectly in alignment. So really, really, really good thing to pick up on right there, because when you're in the car, it's kind of hard to figure out where you're at, especially when you're tucked up. So now I'm pushing. So we've got 2 cars up top, pushing hard. Holslander's pulling the 5 back. He is side drafting him, but it is not doing anything. And yeah, he could be a little bit closer, but honestly, this should be close enough. This does nothing to pull John back. John is a little bit slower right here than we are, but as soon as we get off the corner and John gets this run on the two in front of him and he's got the 72 shoving the air behind him, he just accelerates past us. Now we've got 4 cars up top, 2, now 3 on the bottom. I am pushing Holslander, pushing him, pushing him, pushing him. I'm offset because I'm a little bit hot here, and so I can see. We have 4 cars up top, 3 on the bottom. It's enough to get Rinker clear of Chad momentarily. Best practice, don't force it 3 wide in the middle. 7 laps into a run. Don't do that in a race. But yeah, so now here we've lost John, so he's going to be gone. Now the top is broken up. We had Rinker clear for a second, but then the momentum went to the bottom. Now right here, I think this is really good to see. This is a really nice side draft by Rinker here, and this is his only action he can take to do anything to stop the momentum of the 21, because he's got nobody behind him. The help is coming to the 21. He's got to slow this car down. So he recognizes that. He gets far enough back and he pulls down a little bit right there. I mean, if anything, probably should have been more aggressive and gotten on the door earlier and then swung away sharper. But again, when you're in the car, it's hard to really see where people are. So I get it. But he pulls that 21 back a little bit. If we look at the speed on the 21, slows him down just a smidge, 179 to 178. But then as soon as Krobach gets behind Chad here, they're going to kill this car up top of Rinker. Gone. Now you got 3 cars in the bottom, Rinker by himself. I'm pulling Holslander back here, but those 3 cars lined up are just gone at this point. So the only thing Rinker can do is fall back in line. You just have to have help with you, or really, really time your runs to make sure you can clear whichever line has that energy, and unfortunately the 8 could not do that there. So now we're tandeming up top. He's off me a little bit here because he's getting tight. He is tight. He's offset to the right. He's got no air going under the car, to the diffuser, past the splitter, and through the underbody. He is tight. If anything, when you are behind a car in the corner at the point at which tires are beginning to matter, which we're already there 7 or 8 laps into a run, you want to treat this like an intermediate. Poke your nose out to the left, get a little bit of air on it, slight lift on entry into 3, and then commit to throttle with good front rotation. He doesn't do that. Because of that, he falls back almost a whole car length. I mean, he's just plowing back there. So now I've got no help, so all I can do is get behind Holslander. Now we're going to have a huge run here off of 2. He's got a nice hole being punched in the air. I'm going to go up. A little better on the side draft that time. You can see I stalled his momentum, pulled him off the 3 in front. I've got a little bit of help at the 8, so now the energy is on our favor. Now it's 2v2. Can't really push Johan here because I see he's loose. I'm actually getting him Aero loose by running up to his bumper that quickly. But now we're pushing, we're pushing, we're pushing, we're pushing. Not really making any progress on the 21. Again, that tandem, that locking of bumpers really doesn't do too much. More like real life where the runs don't come as quickly and there's just not as much energy. It's hard to do anything versus the bottom. Rinker's going to abandon ship. He's going to go to the bottom. Now it's 4v2, and you can see we go straight back. It's about 10 laps left in this run. 13. So now we're going nowhere. I'm just making my engine hot. Johan realizes that. We're going to pull in line with these guys and try to build a run here. And you can see speed is now increasing quickly. 185, 6. But I've got a lift. And see right there, I poked out just a little bit to get some air on the nose because we're going into this corner 7 or 8 miles an hour quicker than we did when we were really tightly packed up and weren't building a huge run. So 178 versus 185 or 6 into 3 makes all the difference in the world on whether or not you really need to lift. When I'm going 7 miles an hour quicker, I have to lift or else I'm just going to shove. going to shove, and then maybe snap or just shove to the wall. So you have to lift. Okay. No matter what setup you have, you're going to have to lift at Atlanta when the tires get hot. You cannot expect to be full throttle in a pack when you're tightly pressed up behind somebody. Conversely, if you have somebody tightly pressed up behind you, expect to be a little bit loose, as we'll see here as this run continues. Let's continue. A little bit of air to the left, little lift. And now I've got plenty of front rotation to complete this corner. Gonna pick John Williams up right here, get him pushed forward. You can still slam draft pretty hard. You can see no damage there, so that was good. That worked out. Just be careful with it though, you don't want to punch your nose in. Big run right here. Huge momentum, just really nowhere to go with it. Trying to figure out which line is going to go. I'm going to go to the bottom here. Big lift again. Wasn't in the best aero position there with the 99 behind me, 56 up top, and 3 in front. So just absolutely no air going under my car. Now I'm going to try to pull out here. This is not going to work. I had no run. I did not aggressively get to the side draft on this 5 car. And I had to just tuck back in line. Now John is going to try to do the same thing. He's got fresher tires, so he's going to have a little bit more maneuverability than any of us. So he'll be able to change lanes mid-corner or exit much more efficiently and make moves and really drive us to the front. Now you can see right there, Rinker is pressed up against the back of Chad here, and he just has to bail out of it. He's got to lift. He's got a car on his outside. He's pressed up right there, and he loses 2+ car lengths because of it. So now it's pretty equal spacing right here. 21 has no energy. I've got the 99 behind me, 56 pushing him, so top actually worked there. Really good move by Johan right there to recognize that the middle was open. Good side draft back by the 99 to pull him back, and now they're going to be 3x3. And look what's happening here. 3x3. Way more cars than the 2 lined up here, but they're just pulling each other back, and we're creating space. This is very much like what you see in real life, or if you've been a fan of the sport for a long time, you think back to the Gen 4 days where you'd have 3, 4, 5 cars break away when they got into a single file line, and the whole pack was doing everything behind them, 2, 3 wide, side drafting, this and that, and they would fall back, and they could not close up to that small train of cars until they got single filed out. That same thing is happening here. So I'm going to push John away a little bit here. But I have to lift and give him a bit of space. He's got the fresher tires, he can keep it pinned. And immediately that 21 has a huge run right here. And what he's going to do is he's going to push me. I'm going to recognize that and pull out. Now it's 2v1. We should be able to sail around John, no problem. 21's going to get on John's right rear just a bit to pull him back. But now you can see Rinker's got a huge run right here. He's going to close up to the 5. I recognize the energy is going to be down there, and I cover that line. Now it's 4 versus 3. Top can't go anywhere. Really loose for Chad right there with the 99 pressed up behind him. And so that top has lost all forward momentum. 56 and 8 are pressed up together. 8 just pulled John off of me, so now I'm a sitting duck here. I can try to come up and cover this top lane, which I do. But what's going to happen? They've got huge momentum. They're just going to go to the bottom. Rinker goes to the bottom. Plenty of clean air right there, so he can keep it on the bottom, but I just pulled him back. You can see the speed drop off right here is immense. 182, 3, 4, 5. Into the corner. Now he's got no help. Has to lift. 185 to 175, 74, 3 with my side draft. Now I've got the forward momentum. Energy's with the top. Bottom is really, really formed up nicely there, but not enough to pull back under me. So I come back down, I cover them. Top has no energy, they're going to fall back. 8's going to do the same thing here as the last lap. Build momentum, build momentum. He's going to have the run, but not as much. He stays in line. Good aero position for him right there. You can see the 56. Watch this. 56 of Johan. Big run. Really fast into 3. 187. Clean air. And loose. Really, really, really loose. Has to save it. And the 72 crashes in the process. You just have to really pay attention to how fast you're going. Sometimes you'll go down into a corner because of the energy and you'll be 10 miles an hour quicker and your car is going to react completely different. Bottom's got the energy now. I'm going to get back here and see what I can do to drive back forward. 1 and 2 can easily keep it flat even in this compromised aero situation. 3 and 4 is really the tougher end of the track. Little lift right there. Little checkup. Now it's 3v1. We should be able to clear John on corner exit. But nope, I'm going to get to the top of the 99, pull him back just a bit. Now it's 2v2. 99 comes back up to side draft me, and now we're going to be 3. So that did not work out for me at all. All I can do is pull back in line and try to rebuild that energy. Big weight cross right there. Have to be careful with that. So you're going from clean air to dirty air to kind of somewhat clean back to dirty. So that's really going to affect the handling all at once. Big momentum back to the middle. It's going to shuffle the 99 out in line with the 8 now. Oh, but I made him loose. And right there, we are now almost 20 laps into the run. He tries to keep it pinned. I'm just close enough to really start getting him loose, and he's around. Did not mean to do that. Did not try to do that. Was just riding in line, trying to get a bit of clean air, and it was enough to turn his car around. So be on the lookout for that. He saves it, does a good job. He'll keep going here. So now we're broken up a bit. We'll see what kind of run I can build with the 99 behind me. Back up to the 21 and 5. Got 3 laps left in this run. This next section, I think, is me just really beginning to work the rear aero loose on these 2 cars to just gently move them up out of the way and pass to the bottom. So you'll see right here, big run on the 21. And just move him up. So I'm on his left rear, so he's going to get a little bit loose, and if he starts turning any more wheel, it's going to come around with the rear. He's also not in a good aero position because he didn't offset the 5. So I'm getting him loose, the 5's getting him tight. All he can do is just open up the wheel and let the car walk up the track. And when he does that, I can just go right to the bottom. He's going to pull me back a little bit right here, but ultimately it's going to depend on where this 5 goes. If the 5 stays low, I should be able to clear the 21. If the 5 goes up, the 21 clears me. I'm in line with the 5. The 2 5s are on the bottom. We are pulling each other back. Nobody can really clear each other yet. I'm going to try to side draft the 21 a little bit into 3. There you go. Pull him back. Old tires, so we can't really commit to the top, and I clear. Big run on the 5 now, 5 versus 5. Gonna try to do the same thing with him, just offset a little bit to the left in 1. Clean air on my nose, try to get him a bit loose, really tight on him. And right there, he just squirms up the track, and around I go, 21 in line with me, and we clear for the lead. So you can really manipulate the cars in front of you and around you with this package, which is awesome. The not so awesome thing is when you do it unintentionally and you do it too aggressively and the field crashes, just like we saw at Pocono. So really be deliberate with where you're placing your car, because every action you have, and every action you take rather, is going to have a consequence. And it may work out in your favor or it may not, so you just have to be really mindful. We're going to do a green flag pit entry here, which is unique to Atlanta. You've got to enter into turn 3. So here's your commitment line right here. You've got to stay to the left of this white line, which is the flatter part of turn 3. So you're gonna be going 175 or 80 in a pack, and you got to get it really slowed down right here. My approach is to diamond this corner, enter a little shallow, get up to the line in the center, and then drive back down the track to the speed line. Down to 45 and make pit road speed. In all likelihood, you're not going to have a green flag pit stop. I don't think I've ever seen one here, ever, since they reconfigured this track. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, but definitely just try it once just so you know where things are and you don't make a fool out of yourself and fly up the track and take the pack out. But overall, though, that's really about as in depth as I could go at a plate track. Like I said, we don't typically do this for speedways, but there's a lot of new funky aero stuff going on, and I think it's important to talk about that. Again, don't forget, engine temperature is still very important. You still don't want to blow the thing up. You're still temperature limited, but I don't think you're going to be running closely enough for long enough for that to really matter. Nor does locking onto somebody and pushing them really do very much at this point, from what I can see. So I don't think you're going to be pushing the temperatures as much as seasons past, but just keep an eye on that. Over 284, bad. Under 284, good. Watch your aero positions, watch for your place in your car, and remember tires do matter. Put tires on the car at some point in the race because you're going to want that rubber to be able to make moves. I think if you have cautions and you don't take tires and you fire back off, the tire is going to lose the temperature buildup and it's going to fire off really well again and probably be fine. But eventually that thing is going to wear enough to where the wear is going to overpower the temperature. And even if you've got a super cold tire firing off after a restart, if the thing is worn, you're just not going to have the grip to make moves. And you're going to have to be able to maneuver in the pack and change lanes to follow that energy and follow those runs. So you're going to need that tire to be under you so you can do that. Otherwise, I think there's going to be a lot of crashes. I think there's going to be a lot of people losing their cars. There's going to be a lot of confusion as to why people are losing their cars. When they're losing them, they're just not going to expect it. So I don't really know what to tell you on where the safer part of the pack is. Is it the front? Is it the back? But you're just going to have to be aware of your situation. Really just do what you can do, what's in your power, and hope that luck is on your side and things fall your way. But ultimately, it's a speedway, it's a pack race. There's going to be crashes. You're going to get caught up in them if you do enough races. So just take the good with the bad and keep it rolling. Try not to worry too much about it. You know, there's a race every 2 hours. Just load it back up and try again. But otherwise, though, that's about it. That is EchoPark Speedway, also known as Atlanta, in a nutshell for Season 3 of 25 with these new Cup physics on iRacing. Thank you guys so much for your support of this channel. Our Pocono video did really well, so love seeing that and hope to continue in that direction so we can help you guys out, keep these videos coming, and keep you guys fast on track. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week at the Chicago Street Course. Take care.